Welcome to you all for this regional discussion. So we from IYAP has come here to celebrate this day with a regional discussion on intergenerational solidarity. Just giving a little bit about the briefing about IYAP. It's a youth-led organization that was founded in 2013, and we have facilitated interactive platforms between the youth and multitude of stakeholders, including government organizations, civil societies, private sector, and development partners through many youth-led initiatives. So from 2013, we have been going towards a world embracing mutual understanding and respect since 2013. So what better way shall we, celebrate the International Youth Day rather than a regional discussion from various countries here. We have from South Asia. So this discussion, we have brought forward speakers from Bangladesh, Nepal, Pakistan to discuss regarding the role of youth in mitigating existing issues in respective countries, especially related to youth and education, and to make youth aware about the importance of the closeness and the support between different generations for a country's development. So giving a little bit about how the program will go. First of all, we will have opening speeches, and then we will have a roundtable discussion and a Q&A session. So I'll just be giving you all a little bit of an understanding who are here, the speakers who are here. We have from Bangladesh, Tawhidul Islam, who is an education entrepreneur working to upgrade the quality of education in Bangladesh. And we have from Nepal, Suprema Poundal, who is a lecturer at ISMT. She holds an MBA from Kathmandu University, School of Management, and is involved in Nepal Scouts. She has worked in various startups in Nepal as well. And then we have from Pakistan, we have Mr. Usman Ijaz, who is a student of international relations and who has been active for social development sector since 2013. And also we have here our country directors. From Bangladesh, we have Iftar Mahajbeen, and also from Nepal, we have Bipusha Pathak, and also from Pakistan, we have Adzaz Ali. Without further ado, I think we will give opening speeches to our speakers here from Bangladesh, Nepal, and then Pakistan. We warmly welcome the first speaker, Tawhidul Islam, to speak regarding what are the challenges the youth face in your country and how should the youth contribute in mitigating the issues. We first move forward to our Nepal speaker, Suprema Poundal, who's a lecturer in the ISMT College, and she will be talking to us about the challenges that the youth face and how the youth should contribute in mitigating the issues. The floor is yours, Miss. Yes, Suprema Poundal.
Thank you so much, Dinanthi. Am I audible?
Yes, you are. Yeah.
Thank you. Hello, everyone. Namaste from Nepal. So me as a recent MBA graduate and entering the academia world again as a lecturer, with interchange in roles, I have identified few challenges that youth today have been facing in Nepal. And one of those problems that we have been facing is we are trying to be the change and rebuild the existing stereotypes, break the conservative mentality. Our education has made us aware and ignited the spark to be the change that our society needs. But the obstacles that come from the transition, the extremes, two extreme generational thoughts clashing with one another, the cognitive dissonance between, what you should do and what people think, what your parents think, what your relatives think. So that's a challenge, and there's a clash between these beliefs between two generations. And as I have observed and experienced, this is the main reason as to why youths have been migrating to US, Australia, and countries of the source for higher education, and they have been settling down there because they want to live their life on their own terms and avoid the intergenerational conflict which would have arisen if they were staying back at Nepal. And that's about those people who are migrating for education purpose. And those who have been migrating to the Gulf nations is a whole different story. It's a tragic story because it's extremely difficult to sustain life in here with whatever jobs are available. Go abroad, work there, get settled in around 5 years, and even if you want to come back to Nepal, you will have plenty of savings. And back here, even if you don't decide to go abroad and stay here, and even if you work like for 30 continuous years, which is the retirement service tenure, you can hardly get yourself a home. And I think that that discourages the youth of today. And yes, it's not like you don't have opportunities here. You do have a plethora of opportunities. There are enough room for entrepreneurship. But the problem is when the incentives are not enough for a middle class person with no financial backup to sustain. Especially, this COVID thing, it has turned down many aspiring entrepreneurs. And again, there's the government policy, which is not quite supportive. When you don't have strategic people in the political leadership position, it's difficult to have certainty. For example, during COVID, the local businesses, they had to shut down for more than a year. And it's not just like it goes, the lockdown happens, the businesses are closed for 1 year, and the COVID thing is slightly decreased, and now the businesses are back. Again, there COVID is seen, and again the shutdown. So open, shutdown, open, shutdown. So those who meet their bread and butter, those who meet their bread and butter, like with their local businesses, they have slept empty stomach. This has increased the poverty gap, the inequality, and it's not quite supportive for those local businesses, the roadside businesses, who have made this their sole source of income to maintain their livelihood. And thus, there was a trade-off between good business environment and COVID control, which should not have been. Yeah, it was okay for a short period of time, but when it takes a long toll, then it really affects those aspiring entrepreneurs who want to stay back in Nepal and do something on their own. So another main problem is mental health. So and it's one of the prime one. I myself have gone through this phase, this very dark phase during COVID-19, from where I never thought I could get out. The depression, the anxiety, and it's really sad that the suicidal rate has been increasing over time in Nepal. And our tolerance capacity, it has drastically gone down. We are very susceptible to smallest of things, intolerant, impatient. We want things to go our way, we want the things to work our way. We are opinionated, extremely opinionated, which is quite good from one perspective, but it should have been backed by calmness and spirituality. uh, like, we have our strong opinions, but we are not open to listening strong opinions when others put them forward. So lack of interest in spirituality is causing us youth loss. And sadly, most of our elder generations, they don't take mental health too seriously. Like, it's like, why are you worrying so much? Why are you so tense? Don't think so much. But that's not how it works. So many youths thus are victim of mental health issues, and they can't be vocal about it because they are afraid of being judged by people, by the relatives, by the parents. And most of us are not willing to take medicines because it's portrayed that way. So yes, now moving on to the solution part. The solution to this mental health issue is to embed spirituality in the academia. And by that I mean, not the prayers and going to temples and stuff like that, but at least the meditation, relaxation techniques that has, always that has been proven to help people cope up with mental stress. So that needs to be embedded in the school level itself, so we can make it a habit, so that when these people, these youth, can cope up with the problems when they arises. And today, yes, the awareness has increased, but we need to water the roots if we want fruits to grow, not just the upper leaves. Thus academia, it's the main source of us being empowered, our high ambitions, we wanting to achieve the world. So at the same time, I think spirituality should be taken simultaneously, so that youths can have a proper balance in their life. And regarding the, the intergenerational conflict thing, I think our education system should not get into extreme, because we have always been portrayed, whenever we have studied, we have always studied that the traditions that we have been practicing are wrong. These are the stereotypes, there are no scientific backings. I think that has created a sort of subconscious mind, a thought in subconscious mind which stays. And when we grow up, we have been carrying that with us. And all the traditions are, of course, not wrong, but it's like it's portrayed that way. And that's why youths are being more rebellious and aggressive when it comes to, listening to their senior generations, or abiding by the rules that they have been following. So I think this is how, like, we should be embedding spirituality, and we should take our academia to a little mild form, and not instill the negativity regarding our traditions, cultures, or this is spiritual practices in the mind of youths. So for now, I'm wrapping up. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Ms. Suprema Poundal, for that. I think you gave us a holistic overview of different aspects, starting from the generational gaps, and then we talked about COVID, and then we talked about the depression, mental health issues. That was a very holistic overview of what you gave. Thank you very much for that, ma'am. And also, second, I think we should go forward to our country director from Nepal. I think Ms. Bipusha Pathak also, I think she would also give us a very good understanding as to and support Ms. Suprema Poundal's idea as well, perspective as well. Yes. Do we have Ms. Bipusha here?
Hello, am I audible? Hello, hello.
Yes, you are.
Yes, you are audible.
Yes, we can hear you.
Hello.
We can hear you.
Okay, okay. So sorry, my my internet seems quite lagging. Uh, So talking about the education system in Nepal, uh, the thing is that the education system in Nepal has not upgraded since ages, from our elder generations to our generation, who have been continuing studying the same thing. The study system is monotonous. There is quite less changes in the system. Like we are more into theory based knowledge rather than practical studies, and there have been a lot of issues in general. To sum up, there are too many students and too little resources that claims and the government makes and it also claims that the government makes on increasing allocated budget for the education. There still is difficulty for the people who cannot really afford the private sector education and have to settle down for the public school system. And they I think these people are the ones who faces the shortages of quality education, and a lot of challenges in whole. So I think um, talking about the university level education, there are few universities which like they try to maintain, they try to bring new changes, but I don't believe that the whole universities, like the total universities here present in Nepal, have succeeded to bring the changes, that like the possible changes, to come up with new syllabus, to come up with new ideas, to bring more practical knowledge rather than theoretical knowledge. And I think these are some barriers that we need to solve and work on it. And I think the government should also be quite active to improve the educational system. Our families and we ourselves, we youth in general, should focus on we should focus on bringing more awareness, so that our younger generation will not be facing these issues. So yeah, that's all from my side. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Bipusha, for that excellent explanation and the support. I think we have a forum here where we have a lot of perspectives here. I think we can move forward to our next speaker, which is from Bangladesh. Our speaker is Mr. Tawirul Islam. Welcome, sir. Are you there?
Yeah, I'm there. Can you hear me?
Okay, great. Yes, we can hear you. So just want to know your perspective regarding the challenges that the youth face in your country, and how the youth should face, you should contribute to mitigating, especially the issue of education and relevant issues in that sector, sir.
Okay, well, um, anyway,
Am
actually,
I
the
audible?
scenario is, can I start?
Yes.
Okay, great. So the thing is that it's almost the same scenario everywhere in the Southeast Asia. we are lagging behind in education system and about the quality education, like uh, like in comparison to other continents, like in other parts of the world. So as we consider specifically about Bangladesh here, as I was born and raised here, I had my education here, and I've been working as an entrepreneur. I have to provide work. Like I have a team who are working with me, and I have some experience about it. Anyway, the biggest challenge here in our country for the youth is, I guess, the unemployment problem. And in our country, every year around like 500,000 graduates are adding up to the job market, but only around like 200,000 jobs, new jobs are created here. So what happens? Like around 300,000 people, young people, are still unemployed. And this unemployment is actually because of some other reasons. As you know, in our universities and colleges, we give actually non-technical and education here. Like mostly the subjects people are studying here are not like exactly um, appropriate for the current trend of you see economy and society and other things. So what happens in education system, we give education in universities, people are graduating, and when they pass out and they are added to the job market, what happens? They don't find anything that is actually eligible for them. Say, for example, people are doing master's degrees in political science or in sociology or in history, but they don't have enough like open positions, vacancies for their jobs. So a large number of youth are like out of the job market, and because of this, they get frustrated. This is actually happening because the universities, I mean, the government policymakers are not thinking it seriously. They are not updating the field of you see education here. The fields that they're not extending. Like say, for example, one of my previous foreign students like asked me whether like wanted to she wanted to study AI in Bangladesh. I mean, artificial intelligence. But there is nothing like this. And someone like the increasing demand of networking and computer-based, you see, jobs in comparison to the demand, we are not actually able to educate our people on in these sectors. So what happens? Um, we have to depend on overseas human resources. We have to look for the people who are experts in this, and we have to hire the experts from other countries. And because of this unemployment creates some other social and economic you see hazards here. People are remaining unemployed for years, and they're basically from middle class families and lower middle class families, and they don't have enough money to start a business. They don't have the ability to be an entrepreneur. So what happens? They get frustrated. They get involved in different antisocial, you see, crimes, and people are getting like they're killing themselves. So this is one big like alarming situation here in our country. And another thing is that as we don't have enough skill to be employed overseas, so people cannot apply on vacant positions in the developed countries like Canada, Australia, or in the US. So so they don't have enough money to even go to overseas countries for a skill-based education. So that actually creates frustration in the individual, and this is like this is logically this is connected to the family situation, because family always expect something good for them. And most of the families, the parents are not as much educated as the son or daughter. They think they gave them enough to graduate in the universities, but they don't understand the real situation in the job market. So what happens? It disturbs the family like relationships. Okay, and another thing is that to live a life out of frustration, they get involved in okay, in drugs. And that drug, and once someone's get like involved in this, they need to earn money, they need to manage money to bear the expenses of drugs. So they start like different crimes, like forgery, like robbery, like mm, mugging on the streets. So these are actually happening like in a country, though it's not very extreme level, but this is increasing. And after COVID, I mean, post-COVID situation is even worse. People, because many people lost a job, jobs, new jobs were not created, and even we are not back to our complete like normal you see situation in the economy. and and the most recent one is the global phenomena, the unrest, I mean, in the global politics. And all about like what's happening between Ukraine and Russia. And because of the Russia Ukraine um, war, um, the international community came up with some bans and like sanctions. And because of this, the normal international trade has been disturbed. um, the price hike is unbearable, and the fuel cost is very high, and every single thing like is like going beyond the reach of the middle class and lower middle class families. So these are all things happening here, and we don't have much resources. If you specifically think of our country, we are a very small country, very small one. But in comparison to the area, and in comparison to the resources we have, the population is huge. It's more than most of the South Asian countries. So within the limited resources and jobs and opportunities, like the youth are struggling a lot here. So we basically understand that one thing is the political instability. We are politically a bit unstable here. Our economy a bit unstable here, and we have a defective education system. We are teaching liberal arts. We are teaching unproductive subjects, and the people are coming to the job market with them, and they don't have work-based skills. So that's even making the situation worse. So in my opinion, we need to actually, this is not possible to do something individually. So from my point of view, I always try to find out resourceful people, and I have a school here. It's a private school, and I'm actually the only single man working here. The other, like everyone is a woman, and the manager is a woman. and the teachers and support staff, everyone is a woman. And and I have some other businesses where I try to provide work, even if possible part time, so that they can keep like their like going with their financial situation. So what happens, this is just an individual effort, but the thing is that in a large scale, it is the duty of the government to actually come up with a huge reformation in the education system and in providing opportunities to the youth. Many people are actually many people, many postgraduates, even recently we see are getting back to their villages doing agricultural work and doing great in this. But most graduates have some prejudice about it. They are university graduates and they think they deserve a white collar job, and white collar job is not very available in the job market. So what happens? uh, they can go back to their, I mean, villages and do some agricultural work. So another thing is that some people want to go back, but they don't have any money to start something there based on agriculture. So it's all world on a large scale. It's the duty of the country, I mean the government, to reform the opportunities and the education system, everything, so that more and more youth can be accommodated. The the government should come forward with the financial support to the unemployed youth, so that they can start something new, and they can start their business and they can be entrepreneurs. They should be given loans without interest. They should given loans giving them some grace period, so that they can start their business, can start it like very smoothly, and can start earning. So this is what I think about the situation here. That's all for me today. Thank you very much. Um, so that's all for me. Thank you very much for listening.
Thank you very much, Mr. Islam, for that wonderful explanation. I think you covered about the transboundary issues and also the practical application of what we learn in through education, which is, I think, a
Yep.
very important factor.
Yeah.
Right?
We need to.
And I think next we have our country director from Bangladesh. His name is Mr. Iftat. Are you there?
Yes, I'm here. Hi.
Hi, Iftat.
Hello. Can you hear me?
We can.
Okay.
Great. So, can we know your perspective regarding, as part of the youth also, what do you think are the challenges that you face in your country, and what are the expectations that you have really?
From my perspective, the problems that we are facing can be easily solved. So the number one problem that we lack in is the proper education. We do have a very strong primary education system, like 100% almost of our population are by now is have the primary education. But what is happening is that problem is becoming the education coming into real life. So most of the time, even with the higher education, 80% of our graduates every year suffer from the lack of jobs, lack of opportunity presented for them. So what is the problem? The problems actually start from the very lower level, from the primary level of education. What I feel like in Bangladeshi education system, creativity is not been prioritized. So what happened is like a person grows up dominating their own creativity, own feeling, and when that by the time they're adults and they're entering colleges and universities, by that time they don't have any individuality left in them. So what happens is that it's just every person, every graduate in Bangladesh is just becoming one version of another person. So there's like no individuality present, no sense of uniqueness present. So what happens is everyone competing for the same post, same position. So which actually leads to the lack of employment in Bangladesh. And also what I feel like is that the education in Bangladesh, yes, it's quite enough, it's adequate. Everyone is getting opportunity, but the quality of education is not really up to the mark. That there are majors that actually serves no purpose in this real world, and there are lack of practice of soft skills in Bangladesh. So it's just that a person grows up educational, I mean academically, without having the practices of soft skills like empathy or patience or integrity and stuff like that. So it's just the lack of creativity, lack of space in the education for a person to grow up independently and individually is actually the number one problem that I faced in my country throughout my time, my educational life and everything. And I have seen other people suffering through the same thing. So, and this is actually very, from my perspective, it can be solved very, very easily. Liberal arts can be prioritized in Bangladesh. So far, all the universities are mostly research based, but there is no space for liberal arts in Bangladesh that much. There are only a handful of universities or colleges that actually offer a liberal arts degree. And what happens in liberal arts, that you grow up as a person, and not only academically, as you develop yourself as a person, you know about the society you are living in, so that you can develop in a way that you can help your society, rather than running after a job that might not even exist or might not be fit for you, because everyone is actually running in the same process. So it's just everyone in Bangladesh education system actually become a horse race. So no matter, even if you come in the first place, it does not matter that you are gonna surely get a job or anything. So but I feel like just by appreciating individuality and creativity in the very primary level of education, we can actually solve this problem. And for that, we do have a lot of I'm really glad that Bangladesh is changing, maybe not rapidly, but through small shifts, Bangladesh is changing. They are appreciating a lot of new kinds of schools that are actually providing education that does not follow the banking method, that you just give in and give out as teachers. But as teachers, you are actually providing the support, not the education that the student needs. Because at the end of the day, you'd be educated, but as a young child, as a young kid who's just starting school, you actually need support rather than education from your teacher. So yeah, that's it from my side. Thank you so much for giving me the chance to speak.
Thank you very much for that. I think you said something very important, appreciating the person and liberal arts. I mean, a lot of things that I kind of got the feeling that it's independence you're really talking about, thinking freely, which is, I think, very important and very vital. Thank you very much for that very good explanation and very good perspective on it. And next, we have our speakers from Pakistan. We have Mr. Usman Ijaz, who is a student of international relations, and has his perspective, which he would like to share with us. Mr. Usman, are you there?
Hello, everyone. Yes, I am here. First of all, thank you so much, Team
Hello.
International Youth. Am I audible? Hello, am I audible?
Uh,
Can you hear me, please?
Yes,
Yes.
yes, we can hear you.
We cannot hear you.
Wait.
Now we can hear you.
Uh, what's now? Now I'm audible?
Yes, you are audible. Thank you.
Okay. So first of all, thank you so much, Team International Youth Alliance for Peace, for considering me as a keynote speaker from Pakistan. I'll try my best to do justice with this opportunity and given topic. Coming to the topic for today's talk, which is challenges being faced by youth, as I'm from Pakistan. So I'll try to put things with respect to my country. In Pakistan, there is not a single challenge which we can mention. Rather, there are a lot of problems which youth of Pakistan and in other countries has to face. Be it students of university, college, young professionals, or teenagers outside the school, they all have to go through some challenges. Due to the shortage of time, I have singled out one of the most important problem based on my understanding and my experience, and that is mental health issues. And these mental health issues are directly linked with many educational issues, which I'll explain further. One reason to highlight this issue is that it is most neglected one and not widely recognized in our society. Uh, a person who may look calm on the outside might not feel the same on the inside. And as much as mental illness are recognized and talked about, there is still a lack of support from friends and family. They may acknowledge it to some level, but taking the sufferer to a therapist is still considered a taboo in our society. They think that what people would think, like this man is mentally ill, this man has mental health issues. So this is a still taboo in our society. So if we talk about the causes of mental illness, they include lack of proper career counseling and direction. uh, One of the most important problem is unemployment, family pressure to score a career as per their demand. Students are uh, not allowed to choose a career as per their demand. They have to choose what their family wants. So even we have cases students doing suicides as they were jobless, or they were not allowed to choose a career what they want to, what they desired. So regarding career counseling, at high school age students choose not his university degree according to his interest. Later, when he or she discovers their true interest, they take their assignments and exams as a workload, not they do with their heart, just to do the assignment as a formality and a formal obligation. So this thing put the students into stress. So coming to solutions, and based on my experience, what I have experienced concerning the Pakistan society and the educational system of Pakistan, uh, we make mental health education compulsory right from schools. Government should look into this. The therapy should start early, like from primary school. Every child should learn to overcome the pain and fear. Children should build their resilience when they are very young. Both physical and mental well-being should be a central priority of the education system. Also, government should take major steps to minimize psychological issues among students, and for this psychological training should be provided to all new and existing teachers. So these teachers should not be only academic teachers. These teachers should appear as their counselors. Also, government can set up career counseling centers in every college so that every high school pass out can choose field of his interest and have not to suffer with confusion, or more precisely we can say depression in future when he or she discover his interest in future or in his university life. Also, if we look at the developed countries, especially in Europe, as my different friends are studying there, they tell me that they have psychological centers, psychological counselors in their university. But here in Pakistan, there are no psychological centers in university. So, psychological centers should be established in universities where students can consult the psychologist or psychiatrist and tell their problem to them. And the lastly, which is the most important one, the awareness should be spread via media, social media, and different channels regarding mental health myths and fact. And programs should be conducting for generating health seeking behavior in public. So this taboo can be removed and can be overcome in the society when the awareness, when we recognize the problem, then we will move forward to the solution. So the awareness is the primary step in the in Pakistani society regarding mental health. So this was all from my side.
Thank you very much, Mr. Usman. I think you pointed out on the fact of stereotypes, the stigma related to going to a counselor and the inavailability of a counselor or any medical help, mental health help regarding it. Thank you very much for that perspective. And next we have we have our country director, Aitzaz Ali, who would like to give his perspective as well.
First of all, salam to everyone and hope everyone is doing well. I am audible, ma'am.
Yes, you are.
Thanks. And thanks for giving me such an amazing opportunity and choose me as the country director of Pakistan. And according to me, if I talk about the difficulties and problems the youth of Pakistan facing nowadays, I think there is a lack of youth councils, youth parliaments, and youth unions. Because in a country like Pakistan, where there is a hybrid type of educational system, there is a mix up of religious education system and the high and advanced Cambridge and USA education system. I think it is a main hurdle in our country because we don't have one national curriculum, which make students that they don't even know about their careers. They don't even know that what is best, what should be best for them in their religious side or in their job side. And even when the students are in young age and adolescent, we see that the rich people in the country like Pakistan, underdeveloping country, they prefer to study OA level, USA, UK education system, and the poor, which are mostly more attached to the religious side, they want to study religious education system. And if we are perplexed at even in the initial stage, I think it is very difficult for us to create leaders to make country uh, in the road of progress. And when I also went to my university, I saw that many of my colleagues, many of my uh, seniors choose this career because the parents want that this career is best for you. You want to be a doctor, you want to be an engineer because doctor and engineer have good job, have a good future in Pakistan. You have a lot of opportunities, and people like you because of your careers. They even don't stress on other field like psychologically, as my friend speaker also mentioned, and other research scientific field. In Pakistan, there is a lack of research field. There is a lack of opportunities for students. And if we see, there is a lot of budget for defense, but there is very, very minimum budget for education. And there is only few degrees which people and mostly young students choose for their career. There is a lack of youth councils, as I mentioned earlier, youth parliaments, youth unions, like in Europe. The students have these opportunities. They are opportunities like Erasmus, in which they do internships. In Pakistan, even we young people don't know what is the definition of leader. They choose corrupt people as their leader. They choose those people who have a lot of money. They mostly choose people who have luxury lifestyle. They don't know that what is a leader who help their nation, who influence their nation, and how the leader build up their nation. And if we see the example of Europe, America, Australia, we see there is a lot of unions which are working on youth level. They train youth in for the future. There is unions in which we see that they make leaders. But in Pakistan, there is a ban on union because of political, because it is because of the influence of politicalness. And if some student want to be a leader, then he or she is the victim of political. And if I talk about the females are very chosen as a leader in youth unions, youth parliaments, and in leadership roles. And I think they face hurdles because of their parents' restrictness, because of the gender gap. Pakistan, which is the second most country in the gender gap, and they don't have even opportunities. Mostly of the females get married after 18 years, and if we see that the doctors, female doctors in Pakistan, mostly 78 to 80% female doctors choose doctor degree MBBS because they think if they do doctor degree or do MBBS, they can have a good spouse, they can have a good marriage, and they can marry into a rich family. And they after that, after marrying, they leave their job, and it is also a loss for Pakistan, the country which is an underdeveloping country, the country which don't have even resources. If we look into the budget for this, Pakistan don't prefer to put and give budget to the youth councils, youth unions. And if we see that international on international platforms like USA programs, USA fellowships, USA embassies, UK embassies, Australian embassies, European embassies mostly donate and give money to the underdeveloping fellowships, to the underdeveloping program, to help students so that they build up their careers, so that they also have the characteristics of leadership skills. And I think the government have to focus on these things. The government have to first of all to change the curriculum of Pakistan. There should be one curriculum for all, and there should be at least one education, high school education. And government mostly focus on youth unions, youth parliaments, and unban youth unions because it is the necessity of the time that we make our youth, which is considered as 61% of the Pakistan, that it is the future of the Pakistan. If the Pakistan don't focus on youth, then Pakistan is not serious about its progress, about its future. And I think government have to support those unions. Government have to give stipends, scholarships, and appreciate students for their work, for their social work, to serve others, to influence others. I think this is all from on my side. Thanks a lot.
Thank you very much, Ali, for that very good explanation. I think he covered almost from depression to various aspects of how even the role of women in different sectors, where the social consequences when even choosing a career. Thank you very much for that very good explanation. And now we will be moving forward to the roundtable discussion, where we'll be having a very collaborative discussion on the issues that we face from each country and to give solutions. Especially, just want to keep in mind that we are trying to focus on this intergenerational solidarity, where we try to focus on how different generations could come and provide a solution for the issues that are prevalent, especially in regards to youth and education. So first of all, I would like to ask a small question from Suprema Poundal. Miss, are you there, madam?
Hi, yes.
Hello?
Yes, yes. Could you repeat that again?
Hello?
Am I not audible?
Hi.
You are
Hi.
audible.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, great. So I just want to ask you a question. Seeing the area that you work in and the fact that you have started many startups as well, and even in Nepal, how was the support? Now you have you have done your education as well as you have pursued extracurricular and so on and so forth. You have created a very interesting character. So I was just going to ask you now, talking about this concept of intergenerational solidarity, how is the support over there? when being a female and working in different sectors? How is it?
Yeah, thank you for the question. So I just want to correct a small thing. I have worked in various startups, but I have not started any of my own. So yeah, but the sector that I am working in, I think it's, if you talk about the rural area, it's quite difficult for you to become a female and be a working female who has strong opinions of herself and who challenges the existing patterns of the society. So yeah, that's there. But coming from a city area, that situation is quite mild here, to be honest. And but yes, there are families who believe that females are supposed to stay within the house, especially if you talk about the rural areas. So yeah, that's there. And when we talk about the generational gap, yes, the patriarchy, Nepal is a patriarchal society, and I think so is many countries in South Asia. So the females, the situation is increasing, of course. It's enhancing, it's getting better. There is this government has allocated quotas to bring forward the women and marginalized communities in our society. So yes, there are challenges for females, especially from the older generations who are not quite open about female going out and working late night. But the situation is changing here, especially from the support that we have received from government and the monetary policy and the budget that has been coming every year with certain portion allocated towards female entrepreneurs to uplift them and to encourage the cottage industries. So yes, overall the scenario is changing, but still, yeah, we have a lot to work on. Yes, Tiniti.
Thank you very much for that explanation. I think you pointed out a very good thing where it's changing. There's positive change within society, which is a very good hope, even for all other countries. Thank you very much for that explanation. Thank you very much for that perspective. Next, I will go and ask from Mr. Tawhidul Ismail. Islam, are you there? Tawhidul Islam, are you there? Right. Okay. So moving forward the discussion, just wanted to ask from Dipusha. Being a mental, you're very much interested in mental health and
Yes.
awareness and so on and so forth, various aspects about that. How is the stance in society, especially when it comes to the all the generations in society and their level of acceptance regarding the various concerns that are there? How is the awareness? How is the improvement that is there? Is it empowered by the generations even back then? Yeah.
I think talking about the mental health issues, we can after the COVID pandemic, there are a lot of issues of mental health, but still, I think it's improving since some of the universities, at least in our university, we have counselor of mental health issues. And so if suppose if any student get get any kind of trouble, they can directly go to the counselor and talk about their issues and get some counseling. But talking about the older generation, I still think their mindset is still the same. you know so but talking about the younger generation, I think they are learning what the mental health issues is, and there are there are sufficient techniques like our speaker from Nepal, Suprema Paudel, mentioned that spirituality is something that is now, you know we should be promoting spirituality. And I think I see people promoting, especially in schools. And I think people are, like the people who are educated are promoting the spirituality, uh, the techniques to help us to cope up with the mental health issues. I think overall it is changing, but yeah, we still need to work a lot on that as well. But yeah, it will be fine someday in the future. So I think, yeah.
Thank you very much, Vipusha, for that perspective of yours. I think we can definitely kind of relate to what our Aizaz Ali also mentioned about the social stigma related to depression and counseling and so on and so forth. Aizaz, are you there? Hello? Aitazadi, are you there? Aitaz, are you there? I cannot hear you.
Yeah,
Hi.
yes, ma'am.
Okay, great.
Uh,
Just your perspective regarding what Dipusha said also, and how is the youth's role, and how is the youth's awareness regarding these issues that are there, especially when it comes to the depression, mental health, especially in the education sector as well.
Ma'am, youth play a very crucial and vital role in the education system because education is considered as the backbone of the every country, and it is the basic thing. I think it is the root of everything, whether health, other. I think education is the root of everything. And if I talk about the youth role in education, then I think youth play a very important role because if the youth of the country is spotted well, and if the youth of the country is financially supported by the government, by the different NGOs, and they have a good future in their country, because we see that in underdeveloping countries, especially in South Asia, the countries of Pakistan, Sri Lanka, Afghanistan, Nepal, and India mostly work in the Gulf countries, mostly like to move in the USA, in the Europe. We see that US almost have 45 lakh population of India, zero point 0.5 million population of almost Pakistan, and Gulf has almost 5 million plus workers from South Asia. Because the government in these countries are not properly focused on their youth, they are losing their youth, and the country which lose their youth, they almost lose itself, they almost lose its progress, they almost lose its international potential. And I think the youth can help it in this way, that they can work on their self, like the people who are wealthy enough, who are mature enough, those who have leadership skills. They make unions, that forums in which they can engage other students, in which they can financially support other students, in which they can make student aware of their rights, they can make them that potentially aware that what are their rights, what are the leadership skills, what they have to do in the future, how they work for the progress of their country, and how they choose a good leader for the betterment of the country. Because it is all right, it is said rightly that if one person, if one theft uh, take something from anyone, and it is the loss of one person, but if the leader is corrupt, then it is the loss of the generation, it is the loss of the future of the youth. And if the corrupt people rule youth, then it's mean that the youth of that country are not aware of their rights, that they are not properly educated. And I think the first role which youth can prefer is to create leadership skill among selves, to uh, make skills so that they know about their rights, they know what their future are, like in the developed countries, USA, UK, where they know about their rights, where they participate in referendums, where they participate in seminars, where the leaders debate how they can work for the progress of country, how they choose policies for the youth. And if we see in the underdeveloping countries, those people are elected who are rich enough, who are corrupt enough. Uh, they have not well educated, and they rule us. Even the PhD, the person, the who have PhDs, they are ruled by uneducated people on different institutions. And I think there is a lack of awareness, and the government should have to work on this along with youth also. And that all from my side.
Thank you very much for that perspective. Just want to now, since we've talked about a little bit about the governance and the role of youth and being educated, I just want to ask from Suprema, founder. Are you there? Hello? About the role of youth, especially when it comes to politics, especially when it comes to now being educated and getting into having a role which plays an influential part in society, whether they have a say in it. Are you there? Bipush, if you want to say it out your perspective, that would also be good. Hello, am I audible?
Yes.
Hello.
I'm
Hi.
extremely sorry. I just lost my connection. Could you repeat that again?
No worries. So my question to you is, how is the role of youth when it comes to governance, especially when it comes to youth who pass through this whole education system and then they have so much dreams and they want to get into some
Yeah.
sort of a role, influential role. But how is it
Yeah.
when it comes to making a decision and coming into influential role? How
Yeah,
is the
exactly. I think
support?
one of the previous, I would want to add up to what one of the previous speakers have said. Like there are so many educated people who have been, doing their degrees in this political science and economics, and yet the people who reach the leadership position are those who have, uh, who have not got the bare minimum education. Like even they have not even cleared the high school level. So this is really disappointing, and I think from this particular election that we had 2 months ago, the scenario is changing here in Nepal, because the it's though it's a multi-party democratic system, the independent candidate who has got his master degree has won, especially in the capital city, and the trend is then across the nations. So the education, the educated people who have been striving to, who have the potential and are striving to reach the political position, have been given this opportunity now. I think the scenario will change. I'm not sure if this tenure becomes successful. The change is certain, but if this particular candidate fails in whatever he has promised to, then again we might have the situation might continue, and there might not be like much drastic change in the governance system. But we are quite hopeful on that, because the youths are coming forward, and this is a if I just want to express how important this win was for the youths of the nation, because it's been like years and years that those who have got no education, or who are from a political family background, they had been leading the nation. Now the scenario is changing, and I am extremely hopeful of this time.
So moving forward, I think we've had a lot of questions and uh, well, a very good discussion regarding the youth's role, and also very especially the intergenerational gap that is there, and the generational solidarity when it comes to youth and education. Well, I just want to ask us one last question from Bipusha. Are you there, Bipusha?
Yes, I am here. Yes.
Right. So how is the support of maybe the educational sector when it comes to uh, providing the necessary skills for youth to uh, to kind of perform well when it comes to the later ages? How is it the situation, and how is the support that you all receive when it comes to the education system, the university system, so on and so forth?
I think there are a few universities who like which provide the students quality education, sufficient resources, research ideas, knowledge, education, and everything. Uh, there are few universities. Yes, they do provide. They do provide. Like they do try to provide all the possible facilities, but also there are few universities which even like they don't even provide the basic facility to the students, and that's quite a problem because they'll be because suppose if I graduate from a university, suppose let's say I will be graduating from a XYG university, and the another university ABC University is also there, and the students graduating from the ABC University and the student that is mean that I will be, suppose if I graduate from the XYZ University, and the XYZ University provides all the good facilities and everything and all, and the ABC University does not provide anything to the university, just the basic theoretical knowledge. So after the graduation, there will be a, like, visible difference between the graduates. So that will create a problem in the future fields, like in the job sector, in the regular practical life and all. So yes, the universities really need to work hard, like the all overall universities really need to work hard to provide the sufficient equipment, sufficient resources, sufficient theoretical and practical knowledge, including the including all the mental health issues and coping up with the issues. So the universities and the youth and the teachers and the students overall, all of them, and also the government really need to work hard on this particular issues, because getting a quality education is something that will really help the nation to go forward, and like achieve all the like possible mm, possible development. So yeah, that's all from my side. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Vipusha, for that explanation. I think that's very important for us to know how the support is. And one last question, and we'll be wrapping up this discussion, which I will be forwarding to Aizaz Ali. Are you there?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. One of our former speakers, Mr. Tawhidul Islam, he mentioned about the practical application of what we learn in education institutions, especially that there is a gap between that, especially when we learn something in university or in school. It's very hard to apply that, and the gaps
Yes,
between.
ma'am.
So is there any method that there is there, where they draw the gap between in your country? Is there a specific technique that is there? You would like to know about that.
Ma'am, sorry. The question is how we can mitigate the gap.
Yes, to mitigate the gap.
Sure, sure, ma'am. Ma'am, according to me, that if we want to mitigate the gap between the education and the practical experience, then I think that we have to change our course and syllabus of the university uh, institutions, because in the university the mostly youth, the mostly students only know about their assignments, about their presentations, and about worry about their CGPAs and numbers, but they don't focus on experience, on practical work. I think the government have also built up the practical institutions. Government have to make it obligatory on all institutions that if there is a 4-year degree, then there is also internships between them, then there is also practical work that the students which he or she is studying, he or she also know and work it practically. And when he go into his future jobs, it is very easy and helpful for them to work, because they work it practically. And in this way, the course of education has changed. In this way, it will helpful in the progress of the country. And this is from my side.
Thank you very much, Mr. Ali, for that explanation. So we've come to the end of this discussion, and I just want to say thank you to our speakers and our speakers who are here right now with us, Ms. Dipusha and Aizaz Ali, and also till few minutes ago there was a Ms. Suprema Poundal who was also here, and everybody who was with us. Just want to say thank you very much for being with us, and yes, and for letting out your perspectives. And here we would end the regional discussion on intergenerational solidarity. And thank you very much. Good day to you all.
Thanks a lot, ma'am.
Thank you very
Thank you
much.
very much.